Welcome back, everybody. Episode 9 of the podcast, episode 9 of WandaVision. I am Tom. If you would like to discuss this or anything else Marvel or other comic book stuff with me, you can find me on Twitter at tstamon13. I'm also joined by Chris.
Hello. Yes, and if you have any Marvel questions or theories or anything for me, you can find me at Twitter at bag1982.
And we're also joined by Zach.
I'm Zach, still no Twitter, working on that, but you can find me on the Marvel page, MCU Fans Assemble, or Zach Krieger on Facebook.
And hit him with all the theories too. He'll come back at you with more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll melt each other's brains.
Oh yeah. That's the objective of all this, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. So this was the series finale of WandaVision. So just before we do get into the episode, there will be spoilers again for this episode and the entire series. You have been warned. Now,
Don't see it.
yeah,
But watch it.
yeah. Now,
Watch it all in a day.
you probably could, honestly. Like a few of them are short enough to do that.
Oh yeah.
Like I think the first 4 are around 30
20
minutes. Oh yeah.
25, yeah.
Because it's about 10 minutes of credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch it in a day. Come back, watch us tomorrow.
Yep.
Our podcasts are actually longer
Yeah.
than than the actual episode.
Yeah. I mean,
That's mental.
we got a lot to say. they've been throwing us the ropes, and we got some things right. We got
Yeah.
some things
Got a lot wrong.
kind of right. Yeah, most of it was wrong, unfortunately. But hey, it's all fun.
Right?
Do you guys kind of want to like start the beginning of the episode and work through, or just?
Yeah, we did pretty good
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
I think we could do it again.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
we pick up exactly where we left off. Agatha's just told Wanda she's a Scarlet Witch. She has the kids by the throat with her magic, I'm guessing, and taunting Wanda to fight her. Like,
Yeah.
right there, I wasn't sure what she was trying to do. Because, like, the whole thing that she said at the end of last week's episode about Wanda being the Scarlet Witch, a being of spontaneous creation, I was like, why would you go to challenge that so quickly when you've kind of just implied she could just write you out of reality?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it seemed fairly simple that, forgetting what was said last week, but it was fairly simple that she's just absorbing. She has this power to absorb, other witches' power. So she's doing that with Wanda. But that did make me question sort of. Last week finished with her sort of saying this is chaos magic. You shouldn't be having it. And I actually thought it ended last week with her being not necessarily on the good side, but her having good intentions of sort of going, oh, actually, you're this Scarlet Witch. You shouldn't have this. So I'm just going to have to get rid of this magic, get rid of you, get rid of this magic type of thing. And then this episode, she actually just wants it all for herself. So, yeah, it struck me a little bit confusing at first, and then I just thought I'll just go with it. She wants her magic. Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Zach?
I mean, it kind of just mirrored the beginning of last week's episode. I really didn't know what to think when the episode first started. Like, I think I was just so hooked on seeing what was going to happen. I really expected Hex Vision or White Vision to show up like immediately, but that didn't really happen. But I did like the little nod to Civil War where she took the car and hit Agatha with it.
Yeah.
Kind of like what she did to Iron Man.
And then the Wicked Witch of the West boots.
Yeah, yup.
Yeah. I actually thought we were going to get a lot more of that because I thought this is the only way she can defeat Agatha is by just throwing things at her. You
Yeah.
know, if she
Yeah.
can't actually use the magic on her, then just sort of get other things. So I thought we might have getting a lot more cars
Yeah.
and houses, trees, or I don't know whatever else getting thrown at us. So, but yeah,
I kind of thought like Scarlet Witch would have fought White Vision, and then Hex Vision would have fought Agatha. I thought they would have switched it up, but
mm, yeah. I must admit, I mean, maybe jumping ahead a bit here, but I quite enjoyed the vision on
Yeah.
vision.
yeah,
There really were
I thought,
fireworks.
yeah,
yes, yeah. One question there though is how eh, Hex Vision took a long time to get there. I was expecting him to turn up before White Vision.
Yeah.
Just the way things are, and I haven't been back and watched last week's episode yet because it might be just the way I might have looked at it wrong with the turn of events. But to me, Hex Vision had left Darcy a hell of a lot sooner than when White Vision was even created. So, and then all of a sudden, White Vision is there before before Hex Vision. Not that it makes much of an issue, but it was just sort of I was expecting that. I
Yeah.
was like, oh well, where's Hex Vision when White Vision's already there, type of thing. But
My thought of
Well, I
that is
don't.
just that scene wasn't in chronological order.
I was about to say
well,
we don't really know when that really happened.
yeah,
I mean, it could have
yeah,
happened as soon as they got the drone,
Like,
or
yeah, because we did see them take it
yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, okay.
I was gonna say because weren't the two shots of Hayward? There was the one outside the hex that was one of the first post-credit scenes, I think, that was even in the show. It's just him kind of looking outside. It's like, oh, we launch at dawn. That
Yeah,
kind of made me think that like that vision scene was almost like immediately after that.
yeah. It could have been.
yeah,
But then I don't know because like we don't really know what they were doing at the sword base outside of the hex after the first expansion of it. So I assume they were probably just trying to continue to bring them online, and maybe they had before, and this time they were ready to launch them.
yeah.
I don't know though.
I don't know. Because obviously he was dismantled at the start of all this,
Mm-hmm.
but probably when Hayward probably clocked what was going on and realised that there was a hex vision because he was tracking vision in the hex. Maybe he's just thought, oh, quick, let's reassemble, the real vision and see what happens. We might be able to use something. And then I think again when Wanda came out with the missile, I think he's probably thought, this might be a way to reboot him, and obviously it
Yeah.
worked. So I think Hayward was just trying to. Well, I think he just hit it lucky in that he found a way to get Vision back online. But I think he must have just thought, let's just. And that, even last week when some of the things he was saying to Wanda, I just thought, is he just sort of like prompting her here or pushing it to try and maybe bring Vision back to life? And then when she walked off in the end, and I don't know, I think he's always just been watching it to see if he could sort of take advantage, which he did.
Yeah.
One question I did have, again, I might be jumping ahead a bit here, sorry, but why did he go into the hex?
Vision or Hayward?
Hayward. I can understand why. It's like, oh, I'll send my weapon in,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was like, all right, we'll go in as well. And I just thought,
Yeah, I didn't get that.
did you really need? I mean, it sets up him for the downfall, so I get that as a a part of the plot. But it was just sort of like, didn't think he. And I always sort of seen him as a bit of a coward now, and it's like, I'll stay out of this. I'll send everyone else in, but I'm staying out of it, type of thing. But yeah. Do,
Yeah, I
do,
didn't
do we
really
think?
get that either.
Yeah. Do we think we'll see Hayward again?
Yes, just because he was arrested.
Yeah.
I feel like the majority of the people we saw, maybe not the majority of the main cast we saw in this show, I think is gonna appear again. I, without jumping too far ahead, I think Agatha almost for sure, Vision, 100%, and I'll get to the twins, but I also do think they will return.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Darcy?
yes.
You think
Yeah,
Darcy again? Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get her regularly anymore. I wonder if it's gonna be like she might have one more film, maybe like a few cameo appearances in the rumored like X-Files type show for I think it's Jimmy Woo. So I think
Well,
that's rumored too. So
is that actually rumored? Well,
that was
we
rumored
talked
a
about that, didn't we?
bit ago,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard anything of it since like episode 4 of WandaVision. So like
Yeah.
about a month ago now. So yeah.
It would make sense to see her in that though if it does happen, especially with him asking where did Darcy go, like, or what debriefings for losers or something, whatever
Yeah.
she said.
See, I didn't know whether or not this could possibly, and I think, I mean, I'm jumping right to the very end now, but
That's okay.
when Monica said something to, this is when Jimmy Woo's sort of basically just organising everyone, arresting people. I think Monica says something like, "Oh, this suits you quite well." This or something. She says something like that.
Yeah.
Or, "It suits you
Authority
suits you
suits you
well."
well.
Yeah, yeah. And I just thought, is he going to be the new director of S.W.O.R.D.?
Oh.
I just thought, oh, is that a hint that because Monica, you would think is fairly high, although she's been gone for 5 years, she's probably fairly high up in the ranks.
Oh yeah.
And her and Haywood's first conversation when she came back was, I would have picked you as director. So it makes me think that she has a lot to say. And I don't know. It was just like I say, it was just a one-liner, and I thought, oh, I wonder if he's going to be the new.
I wouldn't doubt that.
director of S.W.O.R.D. House.
I think that's a good idea. If not S.W.O.R.D., then definitely the FBI.
Yeah, yeah. I want to see a lot more of Jimmy Woo.
Oh, me too.
I like him.
Ant-Man 3, baby.
Yeah.
Oh
Is
my.
he-
I think
is
he's
he-
rumored,
Right.
not confirmed yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to see him back in because the second one made him look. I enjoyed him in the second Ant-Man, but I think he was made to look a little bit of a. Well, he was like the comedy sort of goofy type of FBI guy, whereas this one he's sort of kept that type of character, but it's it's certainly brought that character on a hell of a lot. So yeah, bring back Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, for real. I was just thinking about this too. This is a little off topic, just on the topic of Jimmy Woo though. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I did just watch this last night, Scott Lang has 3 years of probation after his house arrest ended. Well, the 3 years after would have taken you 2 years after the events of, or 3 years after the events of Infinity War. 2 years before Scott's even back. So would he still be on probation?
Right? Huh.
Because I feel like that might be the key to if Jimmy Woo's going to be in Quantumaina, because if he's not on probation, he doesn't really have a need for an FBI agent to be kind of checking up on him.
I feel like they wouldn't put him on him considering the events of Infinity War. They probably assumed he disappeared with the snap.
Yeah, that's true.
So he was still. He was still under house arrest, was he?
No, not house arrest. It was like a probation
Oh,
period of 3
probation.
years. Yeah.
Right. All right. Okay. Right.
So yeah, I was just
So he
thinking
had the
about
house
that.
arrest. Yeah. Sorry. So he had the house arrest, and then he had another 3 years of probation. All right. Okay. Right. I didn't know that. Is that said in the film?
Yeah. I caught it like
Oh,
right at the end of the movie, and I was like, oh, I didn't remember this.
Right.
But yeah,
But
thought that
then,
was interesting.
yeah. But then the end credit sting in that is him suiting up and going into the and yeah,
The quantum realm.
yeah, okay, nice.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm doing a rewatch with my buddy for those of you who are watching, and we just watched Ant-Man and the Wasp last night. We've been doing a rewatch, and he saw Scott Lang go in there, and then the camera cut out and see Janet Hope and Hank all dusted, and he's like, "Oh my god, they just killed my man." So I just told him, "Yep," and kept going.
Oh, he's in for a good surprise.
Oh yeah. But yeah, sorry, getting back on track to WandaVision.
Yeah.
Trying to think. So White Vision, when he first appears, he goes to try to, well, just attack Wanda.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, that's taken directly from the comic books. I've read somewhere.
Yeah.
That scene is direct from the comics,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. Yeah.
It was just like, I didn't expect that to happen, if I'm gonna say the least. I expect them to do it a bit differently, because they have recreated a lot of comic book scenes, but kind of put their own twist on it, like Captain America punching Hitler in the first Avenger. It's like a fake Hitler on the stage, not the actual comic book cover of it, but I don't know, I thought they were gonna do something a little different. I also thought they were gonna say something about the relationship actually ending between them, because when White Vision comes up, that's pretty much the end of Scarlet Witch and Vision,
Right.
for the time being at least. But
Yeah. I thought there would have been more scenes because I thought they would play into the whole, White Vision isn't in love with her, and her trying to deal with that, and I know how long was the episode? I think it was 50-minute episode. I know they had a lot to get through, but I did expect a little bit more between White Vision and Wanda. But I mean, the scenes between the two visions, I thought they were brilliant. I thought that one of the best parts of this episode. Actually.
oh yeah.
The fight scene or fight scenes, it was but I like the bit where White Vision goes to pull the Mind Stone out of his head, just like Thanos, and I think he's obviously learned.
Yeah.
It's just like, why am I letting this person do this? I'll just phase through. I thought that was brilliant. It's like, why didn't you do that with Thanos?
Actually, just watched it was because he was stabbed in Infinity War.
by
he
Corvus
was
Glaives.
he was unable to phase.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
He was stabbed like
Which could
5
explain-
times.
Yeah.
The fact that Vision didn't die before Thanos even got there is just remarkable to me.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, when White Vision grabbed Wanda's face too, it reminded me of Age of Ultron. When Vision grabbed Ultron's face and was like cutting him off from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a lot of there's a lot of throwbacks to Age of Ultron, Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
I was actually trying to think of what that, because as he was sort of crushing ahead, I was thinking exactly the same. I was thinking that reminds me of something, and I couldn't think of what it was, but that's what it was. So thank you, Zach.
And then the ship of Theseus.
Yes.
That was
I
interesting.
I like that. I like how they did that little comparison and that conversation between the both visions.
And I mean, like, it makes the most sense. Like, the only thing that probably actually would defeat Vision is logic and reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, as soon as he asked him, what's your mission, and he said to destroy or kill Vision, or the real Vision. I can't remember. Was it the real Vision or something? He says, and I'm thinking straight away. I thought, well, hold on a second. He's not the real Vision. He's a made up Vision anyway. So I'm glad it came back to sort of, let's have a chat about this and talk about it and see what we've come up with. I thought that was, well, just the whole thing with Vision and Vision was, and finishing like that was brilliant. Did did you expect the stone when he transferred the memories? Did you expect the stone to turn? Well, I don't know if it is a stone in White Vision actually, but I was expecting that to turn yellow because I think
Same
it
here.
did go yellow and then it fades back to blue. And I just wonder if he's got a bit of Mind Stone in him now, perhaps. I don't know.
I'd like to think that.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because, I'm jumping a bit ahead here. Wanda does tell Vision that he's the piece of the Mind Stone that was left in her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be the power of the Mind Stone. That's kind of what I thought it was, like the power of the Mind Stone kind of working through, but because it isn't actually permanent, it can't actually exist because the Mind Stone no longer does.
Yeah.
It's only a temporary thing that you can use it, but you can't, not to its fullest potential.
Yeah. 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 It's sort of confused. Did it confuse me? I was trying to just wrap my head around that in terms of, I mean, talk, like you say, we're jumping ahead a bit here, but when she says, "Oh, that's part of the mind stone that's in me, I transfer to you," or something like that. I'm sort of paraphrasing, but yeah, I mean, that did make me think: is the mind stone sort of back, or is it within her? Is it, or is it, like you said, is it just the power of the mind stone? I don't know. There seems to be and we'll probably get this quite a bit, sort of still references to the Infinity Stones as we go forward, because they're obviously big things in that universe. Yeah.
And when Vision tried to use the Mind Stone, didn't it kind of crap out on him a bit? And
I
then he
think
got
that's when
slammed
the
into the road?
hex. I think that's when Wanda ripped the hex open to let the civilians out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. 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 Did you find it weird that White Vision flew off? Because I mean, I noticed because I've watched it back a couple of times now. When he's transferring the memories, and you see sort of like flashes of different clips, and it's mainly, not all of them, but it's mainly Wanda. The clips that you see is a Wanda and Vision. So I'm thinking, well, obviously he's transferring the experiences that they've had together. So I automatically thought that White Vision will now have them same feelings for Wanda, but he mustn't do because he's just buggered off. Or am I wrong? I don't know.
I think he probably flew off because, I mean, even for a synthezoid, it's a lot of information all at once. He probably flew off to go get, like, answers. We'll
Okay.
probably see him in some other movie, like, looking for somebody to fill in the rest of the gaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have a little theory about where Vision went. And it's hard to take it with a huge grain of salt, as always, because like this almost definitely won't happen, because most of the comic run I'm basing this theory off was used for the basis of WandaVision, but I think he's probably going to do something along the lines of Tom King's Vision run with the nuclear family, where he creates his own wife and kids. Because I do think they want to bring his daughter Viv in for the Young Avengers at some point. And that's a pretty easy way to do it. I do think he should have gone with Wanda, though. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Like, it made the most sense to me, like that, oh yeah, he's going to go help her fight him off. You'll have two Visions versus Agatha, and then you have a speedster and another, well, a Wiccan.
Yeah.
I do like when both Visions are having that conversation in the library, and Agatha and Wanda are just blasting each other outside, and they're just sitting here talking about history, like.
Yeah. Yeah. And just I'm sort of going to big myself up a bit here because I had a massive row with someone on Facebook about who the big cameo was going to be, and I just politely said on Facebook, oh well, this is the quote. So I think it's going to be, he's talking about himself. And this guy came back at me, just busy shouting at me on Facebook, saying you're wrong, you're so wrong, he doesn't mean this. And I was just like, well, okay, right, fine, but chances are if I've seen a lot of interviews with him, he's a jokey guy. Chances are, probably he is. So if that guy from Facebook, I don't know who he is, if he's watching this, screw you, mate. something I did actually get right.
Like, Bettany came out, like, the day before the episode dropped. He's like, yeah, I feel bad for everyone because, like, the surprise cameo is me. And I think I got a lot of people hyped up. They were expecting, like, Michael Fassbender or Patrick Stewart. And I'm like, oh, they're going to be so disappointed.
Yeah. I think that's... I've seen a lot of sort of criticism online with this last episode. And I think it's down to people thinking they were going to get Doctor Strange, Magneto, Quicksilver back, all these ones who've been mentioned, Nightmare, Siphon, all these different people who
Mephisto.
Mephisto, sorry, yeah.
He's everywhere.
We've talked a lot. We talked a lot about Mephisto, didn't we? And it's good that they drop little things like that in. I'm wondering if maybe they'll learn a lesson from this and not to do too much, perhaps, because it might not be a problem. I don't know, because I think the ending was I enjoyed it, and it was all in the end. It was all about Wanda and Vision, which really that's how it should have been. But yeah, I think people have probably bigged it up in their own heads and have been let down slightly.
And that's unfortunate. And I feel like that might happen with Spider-Man this year too. Just because everyone's going into that one too, thinking it's going to be a Spider-Verse film. Everyone thought this was going to be a straight multiverse show. It wasn't. I do have a feeling Spider-Man's probably going to, it is going to tie into Multiverse of Madness. Feige's even said so. But I think that's just about it. It'll tie in. It's not going to be a whole story about its own multiverse before they do another multiverse story.
Didn't Feige say, and I was trying to find the interview with Feige and I couldn't find it, but didn't Feige say that WandaVision was going to link directly to Spidey 3 and Doctor Strange 2? I thought that was his words, that it was going to directly link. I might be wrong, though.
I don't know if WandaVision was, but I feel like I've seen that too.
Right. Okay. I thought he'd said WandaVision links directly into Spider-Man 2 and Doctor Strange, Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2.
That does sound familiar.
I'm questioning myself now. I am questioning myself now because I'm thinking, how the hell is it going to... How does it directly link into Spider-Man 3? I just can't see it. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange 2, get that.
Mm-hmm.
You can sort of see where, given the end credit scene, you can sort of see where that's going to go. But Spider-Man 3, don't know. You know what I mean? It's unless Spider-Man 3 is going to be the Spider-Verse, the multiverse, then fine. But I'm a little bit like you, Tom. I'm and I have been nervous about all these actors, previous Spider-Mans being linked, and but I'm falling into the trap myself now, and it's, if I don't see Maguire and Garfield, am I going to be disappointed? I might be now. You know what I mean? I'm big in it, and it's still nearly a year away, 10 months away, whatever. And by the time I get to December, it could well be like that's it. We're seeing the trio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I might be disappointed. I don't know. But
I need to pull up this tweet quick. I did post it in our Facebook group for those of you who were there. But the other day, for those of you who don't know, all the Spider-Man movies do have a Twitter page for them. Spider-Man No Way Home. they reuse the same Twitter page, but they like change the title for each movie. So this is now the Spider-Man No Way Home Twitter. Where is it? So I wonder if it was deleted. Nope. Twitter tweeted out 3 days ago, writing bios today, who wants one? The Spider-Man No Way Home Twitter replies, what you got for me? Twitter replies back, hashtag Spider-Man No Way Home, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield. Only in movie theaters this Christmas. Now, that would actually confirm what Tom Holland said, that Maguire and Garfield are not in cameo roles, because they have roles.
Yeah.
So,
Nah.
yeah, it's stuff like this where, like, if this doesn't happen now, like, Twitter tweeted that out, people aren't going to be happy.
Right.
You've got actual Twitter mocking us now, I reckon.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just interesting with all this, and I personally enjoyed the show. I feel like this episode moved a lot faster than the rest of the show, so I think it felt a bit maybe off pace, but I thought it was a great conclusion to the show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this was MCU, film territory, wasn't it? Where, you've got. I mean, right from the very off, because I wondered whether or not we'd just sort of. I know it ended on them ready to fight type of thing, but I wondered whether or not they'd pull back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd have some sort of dialogue between some of the characters, and then end up in a final battle scene. But no, it was bang straight into it, and. To be honest, I don't think it really stopped. It was just full-blown action, pretty much, in different forms.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of things on Twitter, just people, again, like what we were saying about the cameos, but then just people being like, oh, that episode just made me hate the whole show, regardless of the cameo. It's like, why? Just watch it. Yeah. Form your own opinion on it. You will enjoy it a lot more.
Right.
I mean, I'm quite glad we didn't get the cameos, and I was one, especially Doctor Strange. I still think we sort of got. Well, it wasn't a Doctor Strange cameo, but what happens in the end credit? We'll get to that at the end credit scene. But I was expecting Doctor Strange to turn up, and but I'm quite glad we didn't get a cameo, to be honest. Well, we did sort of. We got Evan Peters,
mm-hmm.
which are we disappointed that it turned out to, well. It turned out to be Ralph.
Which we called. We were right about that.
Yeah. We spoke about it, didn't we?
We also thought he was Mephisto, though, so we won't talk about that. But
we'll keep that quiet. But his name, what a cool name.
Yeah, Ralph Boner.
Ralph. Maybe not a cool name, but
it's like a headshot of Evan Peters from like 2012. I'm like, oh my god. It looks like he does in Kick-Ass 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I don't know. Are we happy with that conclusion of Evan Peters was in the end?
I am. Personally, just because that confirms to me that no, they aren't bringing the Fox X-Men over. Deadpool is the one I think that might be an exception, and probably a few of the characters around him, like maybe Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Domino, maybe Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll end up getting recast, especially. Well, we did get some news about that too, that apparently there's a X-Men film in development at Marvel Studios titled The Mutants.
X-Men film? I thought,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't think it was a film. I thought it was...
Well, I'll check the tweet again. But I think it was the Illuminati tweeted that out.
Yeah, I think right before our podcast, I think I saw it was a film.
All right. Oh, okay. Oh, nice one. Yeah.
It's somewhere here, but yeah. So, and apparently it's
So
supposed to
not
be a
quite.
total reboot. Yeah. So the X-Men are officially making their way to the MCU.
But they're calling them mutants, not
The
X-Men.
mutants. The so the mutants
Oh,
is actually Stan Lee's idea for the X-Men originally. He wanted them to be called the
yeah.
mutants, but the editor at the time told him no. No one's gonna buy a book called The Mutants. They don't know what that is. So he called them the X-Men, made them mutants anyways, and he was like, "Well, I didn't think they'd know who the X-Men are either, but they like that name more,
Right.
so I went with that."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little
That's. I think.
homage to that.
I think that's quite a clever way for the MCU to bring because the X-Men haven't. I mean, I like the X-Men films, most of them. You know,
Yeah,
it's been well. I'll watch all of them. I've only watched the Dark Phoenix once, and I'll probably not watch that again.
yeah,
But
same here.
all the others I've watched. You know, a number of times. I'm quite happy to go back to them. But they haven't got the best of reputations at the moment, the X-Men films. So probably given Dark Phoenix. So I think that's quite a clever move to stay away from the X-Men title. But yeah, bring mutants in, calling it the mutants. But the link with Stan Lee, that's that's quite a clever link in terms of that's what he wanted. So yeah, that'd be good. So is there a date for that
No date.
or
So I'm assuming that'll
okay?
be one of the first few films of Phase 5. Probably
I was gonna say
2024 or 5.
yeah, because we're pretty stacked up, especially given COVID as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Times pretty stacked up with TV and films really at the moment, aren't we?
And I think
Just
we
looking
Yeah,
know
I was just
what films we're getting in 2023 too. Like, I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four and, what's the other one? Deadpool 3 are
yeah.
going to be two of the
Oh,
films in 2023.
all right, okay.
just think if COVID didn't happen, we'd be getting Doctor Strange next month.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I
And we
know.
would have already seen Black Widow, The Eternals. Would we have seen Shang-Chi yet?
I
Yeah,
think
I think we would
so.
have. Yeah, I think we would have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would have been last summer.
Because that was pretty early on. Yeah, yeah. We wouldn't have seen WandaVision straight away though, would we?
No, but we would have seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
And
that was going to be first, wasn't it?
yeah. And I feel like Miss Marvel was supposed to be around the same time as WandaVision.
Think
Right.
so. And then Captain Marvel 2 was supposed to be the end of this year, right? Or beginning of
Yeah.
next year?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It was a long year without Marvel, but
Yeah.
well, I'm okay with it.
And the slate isn't moving. That's all but
Right.
that's confirmed now. It's just a matter of are we getting Black Widow on Black Widow and Shang-Chi on Disney Plus for premiere access and also in theaters, or is it only going to be in theaters?
Right.
That I think Disney has an investors meeting on the 9th, so 2 days from now. And we should know by then.
Yeah. Uh, it'll. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what's happening around the world in terms of COVID. I mean, in the UK, it's planned. It's not definite, but it's planned that cinemas should be reopening in May. Um, but that being said, will there be confidence for people to go back into cinemas? I'll be honest. If they release it on Disney Plus, even if I had to pay for it through Disney Plus, additional charge or whatever, I may just stick with it on Disney Plus at the moment. If I don't have an option, and I have to go to the cinema, then I'll go in the cinema and see it. But yeah, and I don't know. Everyone will have their own, thoughts on that, whether or not they feel safe enough going into cinemas. But it's whether or not cinemas will be open worldwide.
Yeah.
Because I think that will play into it. If you've got parts of the world where cinemas aren't opening, especially for the big markets for Marvel, they might release it on Disney Plus, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, cuz I
See,
think
I was gonna say if
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say if I had to see it in theaters, I'd try to be smart and go during the day. But everyone probably has that same idea.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you don't know. People might not want to. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how things pan out, I suppose. With
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, Canada's
Well,
not a huge movie market, like, just because we aren't a huge country, only like 36 million people. So, like, we do have, I think, one theater open in my city right now. I
Right.
think it's actually the UK, the US, and China are the top three biggest
I
markets,
see.
I think.
Yeah, China as well, isn't it? Yeah.
And China has their theaters open.
Ah, right. Okay.
But I
Ah,
heard
well, that.
some theaters in New York were opening up a few days ago. I don't know if it was city or state, but I
Okay.
did
see,
hear
our
that.
theaters have been open since like summer, just
Yeah.
not
Right.
not with new movies, just replaying old ones. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm in Wisconsin. Nobody really follows the COVID rules, unfortunately.
Right. Right.
I
Our
mean,
numbers keep going up and up.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's unfortunate. But I mean, hopefully we'll get to the end of it and like you're doing your part.
Oh
It
yeah,
sucks people are dumb, but that's just how it is.
yeah,
I was gonna say
yeah,
most of the theaters
exactly.
around me right now are basically just on skip the dishes and stuff for food. So you could like I'll just get like movie theater popcorn if I'm gonna watch a movie sometimes. It's just like okay. I actually might do that tonight for Endgame.
Oh yeah.
All right, sorry, we went off on a little tangent there, but
Yeah, we have, haven't we? Yeah.
it's been a few of those.
Yeah.
Well, do you think Ralph is the guy in the witness protection program for Jimmy
Ah,
Woo?
see, ah, yeah.
No, because he saw him on the screen in the one episode and was just like, "Oh, who's that?"
Ah,
And then
yeah,
they're like,
you're
"Oh,
right. You're
Ah,
right.
it's
yeah.
the recast."
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It doesn't get mentioned at all, does it? I still think that's a bit of a plot hole, to be honest.
And the beekeeper.
Oh, don't get me started on the beekeeper. Blaming beekeeper. I would have been happier if the beekeeper ended up being Quicksilver, Pietro. I would have been happy with that if Agatha had found the beekeeper and thought, right, I'll use you as Pietro. But yeah, don't know what happened with the beekeeper. Disappointed by that.
Me too. And that was like the two things that we kind of said, and a lot of people actually I've seen have said like the whole series long. They're like, you say something that specific and make like kind of a big point of that, and then just not to reveal it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I'm wondering, and this has just come into my head since we were talking about Ant-Man 3 and Jimmy Woo possibly, and I'm wondering whether or not they might link it back, and whether there might have been someone in Westview who, this missing or this someone in witness protection was in Westview and links into Ant-Man 3 perhaps, if Jimmy Woo's in that. I'm just wondering if it's just something the planters, and then they'll come back to it later. And I still think that with the aerospace engineer, we've all gone, oh, aerospace engineer, oh, Reed Richards is going to turn up, it's going to be brilliant, yeah, blah blah. Obviously, it hasn't. I think it's good it hasn't, but I think they purposely mentioned that, and they might come back to that. I mean, it might be a couple of years down the line in the Fantastic Four
Kind of
film.
just setting up for it, though.
Yeah. I think they're just dripping stuff. Which, when you look back, I mean, Tom, you've been rewatching the MCU. I imagine there's stuff, but way back, in Phase 1, Phase 2, which hints towards what was happening, and we probably never really thought about it at the time. Whereas now we look for these things. We really look for these things. So I think
Doctor Strange is a big one for that.
Yeah. In terms of The multiverse.
The multiverse. Just because like I feel like most people on first watch didn't really like kind of clue too much into it, and I mean honestly, like Doctor Strange is one of Marvel's lower grossing films. Like not a ton of people went to go see it.
Yeah.
But like you really should. It's a good movie. But I found that a few people who are newer could get confused of how he goes from being almost very little knowledge of sorcery to almost a god in the next film you see him in. But that's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could talk about that for quite a while, but we'll leave that. Did we like the superhero pose, the family superhero pose, with Vision, Wanda, and the twins? Which, I thought straight away it's been online quite a lot, but it seemed to parody The Incredibles. If you've ever seen The Incredibles, which I thought was pretty cool.
I didn't expect that, to be honest.
What?
Like The Incredibles kind of nod.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's Disney, isn't it? It's still Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And The Incredibles was on. It was playing. Was it? Which I can't remember which episode it was now, but
Halloween.
The Halloween one, yeah. And
that and Parent Trap.
Yeah, Parent Trap.
Isn't The Incredibles Pixar though? Or is it Disney?
It's
Pixar owned by Disney.
Well, yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is Pixar.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice on that movie theater this time when it was changing? One of the titles was Oz the Powerful and Great, I think it was. Another Sam Raimi movie. Raimi.
Yeah. Do we want to jump there now? Oh no, I'll come back to us.
Okay.
I thought there was another big Sam Raimi hint towards the end, but I'll come on to that later. Do you think we should have seen more from the twins, or because I was expecting them to? Again, this is maybe sort of playing back in, because I didn't think we saw enough of Monica either. I was expecting to see a lot more of Monica, but this again maybe just thought we're going to concentrate on Wanda and Vision. But yeah, we just saw again. Didn't see hardly anything of Darcy. Very little of Darcy. But she had a good moment.
Have fun in prison.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Hayward. I just thought these characters, which I mean, especially Monica in particular, I think. I suppose Darcy, she wasn't a main character, but I saw Monica as like one of the main characters really. And yeah, okay, we saw her, stop them bullets and stuff, but I did expect her to be sort of more involved with the fighting. But Hayward trying to shoot two kids. What a bastard.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Like
a full ream of
and
bullets
just
as well.
Didn't stop. And Monica goes in the way, doesn't stop, just aims slightly to the side. I'm like, what?
What about? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
if I didn't hate him before, I hate him definitely after that. But
I mean, at that point, it was like, if he wasn't going to jail before, like, he was definitely going to jail now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's no redeeming that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I love, there's one little thing that Speed does that I guess they aren't called that, Tommy. Yeah, he grabs the stuff. Similar, like another little nod to the X-Men Quicksilver stealing the hat and the glasses.
Yeah.
Now, I did see a lot of people doing that, going like, oh, that means that Ralph actually is Peter Maximoff from the X-Men films. No, he's not. Agatha brought up necromancing. There's a possibility that we could get real Quicksilver, the good one, back. I'm just kidding. That's my preference. I really liked Aaron Taylor Johnson. But yeah, I think people need to let that one go.
I think
Yeah.
they do. It was a I think it was a clever it was a clever sort of move to get him in to start conversation like we've had. Oh, is this is this the the multiverse and things switching over from Fox and stuff, and but I think it played in, which we've talked about. It played into the whole 80s where the sort of the Roseanne where they changed characters and or change actors, and yeah, I think I'm quite glad it played out, and to be honest, for him to be Ralph, because Ralph was mentioned quite a bit, although I have the issues with the beekeeper and Wu's missing person, but Ralph was mentioned a lot, and I think we needed to find out what happened to Ralph,
Yeah.
and we did, you know what I mean, and so I was happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
With that, do we think that Agatha or Agnes, as now she's been oh again I'm jumping massively here, but do we think Agnes is going to move back in with Ralph?
Now that he's not
I
under
was
her control, I don't know if he'll let her.
Right.
yeah, I don't know. He seemed pretty sad. He might just be happy to have a woman around.
This is
I don't know.
true.
Don't know.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I might be doing Ralph an injustice there, perhaps. I don't know, because the majority of the time we saw him, he was under Agatha's spell, so he might have been a top quality guy. I don't know, but he came across as a bit of a loser. So yeah, okay.
Well, it's a
sorry,
last
Ralph.
name of Boner.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. Yeah. What have I got here?
So I don't know where we left off with it, but I really like when Wanda, it kind of looked like she was just submitting and gonna give up her power,
Yeah.
but then ended up creating all those ruins around the hex.
She was doing that the entire battle. I didn't even I had noticed that the second time I rewatched it, that she's intentionally missing some of the shots she's firing at Agatha.
And you even kind of see Agatha looking like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah. She's
she
like,
kinda
you're
gave her a
wasting your
look.
magic.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was clever. I really like that.
I think that was something that, because Agatha actually says that to her, that your problem isn't your power, it's your what's the actual word she used? Knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the you've got enough power, but you haven't got the knowledge. And I think that's when they were inside Agatha's sort of dreams as well, where Wanda sort of hexed her.
I like
and
that
gone
too.
Yeah. Well, this I'll come on to something else, but yeah, just to finish my point, it's I think she sort of turned the table on Agatha and thought, yeah, I'm not going to beat you with my power, because I thought when in that final bit where, and I must admit at first I didn't notice her missing. I probably did, but didn't think it was relevant, and I just thought, something's up here. She knows she can't, or she can't beat her by doing this. So what is she doing? And it was, I just thought it was pretty cool reveal when she created the ruins. And like I say, I thought it was a good link back to sort of Agatha saying, your problem is knowledge really, and she ended up beating it with knowledge. So I thought that was pretty cool. But going back to that scene where they're in Agatha's dreams, going back to Salem, and the reference that this was in last week's episode, Agatha's mother having is it the crown or tiara? I can't remember, or the headwear, and that is identical to what Wanda ends up having, and then obviously creates it into a physical form. And I just thought, does that mean that Agatha's mother was the Scarlet Witch? Perhaps, I don't know. It just seems to be a link that I just don't know why they put that on her.
I think she's going to be another kind of super powerful witch. Just Like, because the Scarlet Witch doesn't need a coven, and the fact that her mom had the coven in the first place would,
Yeah.
like,
I think I've just read
don't
far too
know.
much into that. Then is it just headwear that powerful witches have? Maybe.
Yeah, like, that's kind of what I've been thinking of it as. Like, maybe it's like a symbol that she's like, I don't know. I don't want to say head clan leader. That doesn't sound good. The
Top.
head, yeah, the top
Top.
person of the witches.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't. I feel like we're gonna get a lot. I feel like that's gonna be explained to us though, down the road.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're also gonna get told that. I don't. This is a hunch, but I feel like Wanda's mom's gonna be a Scarlet Witch in the past.
All right.
But we'll see for now.
Right.
I think we'll only find that out once she's like. This will be probably way after Multiverse of Madness if that ends up getting told.
Do we think that this is something I didn't realize last week actually? But do we think that she is going to get linked? Because I'm assuming at some point Magneto will come into the MCU. You know, he's a big enough character. Do we think that we'll have that father-daughter link at some point made? Given that we've seen her parents now, and I know it can always be retconned. You know what I mean? But do we think the MCU are going to go down that line where Magneto's actually the dad? I can't see it happening myself now. I think that they're going down this Scarlet Witch route, and I think that's the way they're going to go with it.
Like, you can have her be a mutant. I feel like there's no problem in making her a mutant, but like forcing the Magneto connection, and she hasn't been Magneto's kid since I want to say like 2014 in the comics.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I've actually put this question down. Do we think she's a mutant? I think we might. Did we talk about this last week? I can't remember if we did.
We did, yeah.
We did.
I still don't personally.
No.
I'm open for the idea that she could be, because I feel like that would make a lot of sense for why Pietro would have gotten powers as well.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking witch.
I don't think she'll be a mutant, but I think she'll be heavily compared to or like counted in with the mutants. Like, I don't know.
Can I change
one?
Can I change my mind quick? You literally just gave me the best idea ever. The world fears Wanda already, right? When mutants become public knowledge, if Wanda's a mutant, that fear will be amplified because there's going to be so many more. So actually, yeah, I do think she's going to be a mutant, because that can just be the basis off of like the world's fear of mutants.
And that's kind of why I made my decision on that, because in that last episode, you know, the look everyone's giving Wanda, like they're afraid of her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that could tie into the mutants down the road on why they don't like them.
But now I'm going to contradict myself, because that could also tie into the witches and just how people used to view witches back in Salem and like why they'd burn them. You can literally do anything with this. Like, they're keeping like, Marvel, why? Give us a clear answer.
Yeah. See, I think what we've seen across the MCU in terms of is everything not just sort of cosmic stuff? And let me explain that instead of just saying cosmic stuff. But we had, you know, we've had Thor with all his type of magical, godly powers. And they've sort of explained that as, you know, it's just sort of cosmic stuff going on. You then had the Sorcerer Supreme, you know, basically creating magic as well, I think, pretty much. And then you've got the Infinity Stones that you know, they haven't been talked about as magic. They're just these cosmic sort of entities or whatever. Is it just something? And again, mutants, could that just be another? And witches. Is it just another sort of example of some cosmic stuff going on, and it's just classed as something else? Am I explaining myself right there?
No, I know what you mean.
You've got all these different types of um, powers and different things, and some people class it as witchery, some people class it as magic. You've got Thor, doing godly stuff, and you've got Infinity, and it's all just stuff going on in the universe, and different people class it as different things, whether it's magic or something else, or being a mutant who has powers. Um, I mean, the mutant thing. I did see a theory about how they could bring the mutants into the MCU, and they could just link it directly to the blip, and that
Yeah.
and that basically the blip. We might have spoke about this. I don't know. That the blip has ignited the X gene in those people that have it, and that's that. So from people returning, um, X-Men or mutants are going to start to appear, and I could see that. That seems like quite an easy route to
Yeah.
bring mutants into the MCU. And again, that feeds into my theory that I think Wanda is a mutant. But okay, I suppose we'll see what happens in the mutants. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well, actually, I
I
do
still
have
want
a.
to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say I still want to stick with the stones being reduced to atoms. Still my theory on creating mutants. I think I'm gonna stick with that until we actually see what creates the mutants.
Well, I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
what do you guys think created the mutants, and or how long do you think the mutants will have been around by the time we meet them?
Well, I think I'm going to stick with the blip theory. So I don't think we've had them around for a while. I think the Scarlet Witch was probably the first one we've had. Well, sorry, Wanda and Quicksilver, Pietro, I think, but their X gene was unlocked by the Mind Stone, um, and then which actually sort of feeds into Zach's sort of theory about the Infinity Stones creating mutants actually. So, but I suppose the blip is just the Infinity Stones as well.
Just all of them at
Yeah,
one time, right?
yeah. Yeah, I'm going with that. The blip created, or the blip has brought the X gene out, and yeah, from the blip we have mutants, and before that we didn't. That's what I'm going with. Yeah.
Zach, you're on the Infinity Stone train.
Yeah, but to go a little bit more in depth, like, you know, it could have been like when the stones are destroyed that they entwine themselves with people, and maybe, the second snap ignited it, like made their
Oh,
power come out, or activated, I guess
yeah,
you
yeah,
could say.
yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
That's a little bit more far fetched, but I mean, it's Marvel. It could happen.
Yeah.
Anything can fucking happen.
Well, I mean, I think both of those are probably like. I think that's especially them being recent films. I feel like that'd be. I don't want to say an easy way because I don't think it's actually easy to introduce them like that. But I think it's a
Right.
safe way to do it. My
Yeah.
theory is they're
Yeah.
not going to do the safe way. So that in this Eternals movie that we're going to see this year, it's going to be revealed that the Celestials and the Eternals had a hand in developing the mutant gene or developing mutants on Earth, and that mutants are more than likely probably going to relate back to the Eternals, which is pretty similar to the comic book. So it's kind of why I'm hoping for that. But also that way, if we have mutants that far back in time when the Eternals is supposed to take place, it's supposed to take place over like 2,000 years, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So I just think there's so many stories and certain elements in our own history that just predate Infinity War are important for the development of certain characters. Like Wolverine has been alive since the 1800s. Magneto was a victim of the
Yeah. During the
Holocaust.
yeah.
Professor X is pretty much the only one you could kind of pick out and plop there and just be like, yeah, it makes sense if you just kind of started here. At least in my opinion. Because, like, he didn't really have any tie to too much...
History.
Yeah, exactly.
Any historic events, did he? That's a good point. And, yeah, if suppose, I don't know, I think Wolverine, you could... no, because he has... I was just wondering whether or not you could pick Wolverine and just have him in sort of modern day without that sort of history. Maybe not. I don't know.
It depends on how they do it.
Wolverine. Yeah.
I wonder if they do the son of Wolverine.
Yeah. I mean, are they even
Or
going to
daughter.
bring Wolverine in?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Daughter would make a little bit more sense.
But here's the thing: would they keep the same actor for X-23 if they did that?
I mean, how old will she be?
I want to say she's probably like 16 or 17, maybe.
She must, because that was 3 years ago, was it? I don't know. Maybe
Almost 4, I think. Oh, we lost Zach.
Zach.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
Zach?
Disappeared. Yeah, I disappeared for a second.
Logan was 2017. Maybe she's not that old then.
24, yeah. I just don't know whether or not they're actually going to bring Wolverine. Oh, I don't know. I know he's a big character, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with all of the X-Men mutants, because a lot of the characters were loved, some not so much, but you know, Hugh Jackman, whether you like him or not, he everyone knows him as Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
I suppose the recast Magneto and Professor X in a way, that seemed to work out okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see, I suppose, with that, won't we?
We
Anyway,
will.
We've gone off topic again.
It's the off-topic finale episode.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, should we go to the end then? What did you guys think when did we know how this was going to end? Did you expect it the way it happened?
Well, I'll say I was very confused at first, but I mean, I also woke up at 3:30 in the morning, half awake, watching it. Went back to sleep and watched it again, and it obviously mirrors, Doctor Strange, where she's using a astral projection of herself, reading the Darkhold.
We're going that far. All right, sorry.
Oh, I didn't know
Like
what you meant by
the end scene, like just the actual end episode.
No,
sorry, as you can tell how fast I said that, I've been holding that in.
Well, no, I tell you what, let's go. Let's talk about that. The end credits.
We can always edit this to the end of the podcast episode.
I can try.
Right, yeah,
actually,
right.
I'll just leave it here, and it can just be funny, guys. We're doing the end credit scene first.
Yeah.
Yep. So I couldn't hold it anymore.
Oh no, I don't blame you. I almost said the Darkhold about 5 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Zach.
Oh, that's all I was gonna say about it. It's just, well, and two, doesn't that kind of bring in Chatan? It being officially called the Darkhold.
Yeah, it does. But like, then there's the theory. It's like, oh, are there multiple Darkholds? Because now a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans and Runaways fans are not too happy that they called this the Darkhold, and it's different from the Darkhold that they saw in their shows that they think are MCU canon. Like,
which are not.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon until Age of Ultron, and then afterwards it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, but I'm happy for that not to be canon at all. You know what I mean? That just leave it. I thought it was good, but yeah, for me, bringing the Darkhold in is absolutely fine. It sort of makes sense. To be honest, it's going to progress the story. I mean, I watched it. I wasn't too sure what I heard when I first watched it, but I watched it with subtitles, and she does hear in her astral form, she hears the twins crying out for help. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually
I think one
I
yelled
actually wrote
"Mom."
it down. Yeah,
Yeah,
mom,
Mom,
help,
help me.
please. Yeah, yeah.
Now
Um,
is the Darkhold the book that's missing in Doctor Strange, or do
No,
you think that's going to be a completely different book missing?
the book that was missing in Doctor Strange was the book of. It was the one that Caecilius stole the pages from. That
But
was it Feige or Derrickson
yeah.
confirmed that.
Oh, right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, it's right.
Definitely not
He did
Darkhold.
steal multiple
Yeah,
pages.
but there's a
Cause
possibility that the Darkhold was in that library.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because, well, see, this is what I found confusing because we see Agatha with the Darkhold. Now, how long has she had it? And then how does well, I suppose it was probably just there for Wanda to take. I suppose I did think how did Wanda take it, but it was in her basement, wasn't it? Agatha's
Oh yeah,
basement.
almost right in the
Yeah,
open too.
yeah, yeah. Because it was the way because Agatha just created it out of nowhere, and then it went, and it did get me thinking, well, how's Wanda getting it? But it was just in there. Yeah, she probably just picked it up from a basement because it was on the stand in the basement, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it seems just seems fairly straightforward to me, and it might not be, but she's learning how to try and get her kids back.
Yeah,
That's how I saw it. She's reading up in the dark hole to try and find the magic or whatever to bring her kids back, and but that's what threw me with when she hears the twins crying out for help, and I'm thinking, oh, are they somewhere in danger? Are they in a multiverse somewhere?
yeah,
she's going to
Perhaps,
end up
and that's
summoning something she wasn't supposed to. I guarantee
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm on the
yeah,
same page with that. I just
yeah,
think that makes the most sense. Whether it's Nightmare,
yeah,
Mephisto, Chthon, whoever, like it's some bad's happening.
And she's going to do
yeah,
it trying to get back her twins
Yeah.
or whatever. And
yeah,
yeah, which will probably lead into Doctor Strange, Multiverse of
yeah,
Madness. We'll probably
Yeah,
see Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange fight a little bit, and then team up to go against, whatever
yeah.
she accidentally summoned or purposely. Who knows?
But I do want to just touch on that post credit scene a bit. But I do think that there's going to be a very specific reason why Strange wasn't here during the show. I wonder if maybe because a lot of these villains they can have many forms like existing at the same time. I wonder if like part of this one, let's say it's Nightmare, like part of Nightmare's let's call it a soul gets out and Strange is trying to contain it, and then once Wanda gets access to the Darkhold and starts doing all this magic, she accidentally releases him fully, and
mm,
then Strange is kind of like, okay, I gotta pull you, I need you for help. That's kind of how
yeah.
I see it going on. I do think there's gonna be a fight between
I
them two first.
Oh yeah.
I see. I'm not so sure now that there will be. I think especially how it ended with Wanda, basically releasing everyone. Even halfway through, it wasn't even at the end. It was halfway through when she's confronted by all those town people around her. She realizes that she's done wrong, and ultimately has the ultimate sacrifice of letting her husband and her kids go, and so she is the hero. I think she's going to do something bad by accident. I agree with you guys there that she'll possibly bring something in the world that she shouldn't have. But I don't see that going into Doctor Strange as an enemy of Doctor Strange. I don't see that.
I,
But but I do agree with you, Tom, that I think there is a reason why Doctor Strange wasn't in it. I can't. That's why I was expecting him to turn up, even in just a cameo at the end credit scene. I thought there's he should know what's going on. He really should know what's going on here. You've basically got his two witches battling it out in a big fuck off hex.
Yeah.
Now, if that isn't something for Doctor Strange to turn up and sort it out, then I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why he's not there. There has to be. And like you say, it'll probably play into Doctor Strange too. But I can't. Don't get me wrong. I might be wrong, but I can't see it. I think they've leaned a lot now into Wanda being on the good side.
Yeah.
That I can't see it being even partly of a villain for a little bit. I don't know.
My thought of it is that when Doctor Strange comes to get her to help either save the multiverse or defeat this villain, he's gonna kind of go to her and she's gonna just kind of in defense start using her magic, and he might just kind of go because he's in a rush. That was my mindset. I don't actually think she's gonna be an antagonist in any way. I think the most of her being an antagonist we've already seen in Age of Ultron and briefly here, even though she's honestly mostly the victim.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of what you were saying, Tom. What I was going to think was Strange was going to try and do what he did to Loki, create one of those sling rings, and and she's going to get defensive, because Doctor Strange likes to use his powers first before talking.
I've been falling for 30 minutes!
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch Ragnarok after this.
Oh, I love that movie. But I do have one last thing about that end credits scene, and it does kind of tie into my little theory about the kids. Chris, I think you're on the right track. I think the kids are still out there. I don't know if it's in the multiverse, but I do think she's gonna unlock or unleash the multiverse, trying to find them. Oh, this is a risky play because we didn't see anything of them. I don't know. I think the kids are tied to Mephisto's soul. I think they have to be. She can hear him shouting from the Darkhold, so they're clearly still alive once they've disappeared, which is very similar to what happened in the comic. I'm okay if they don't have it being Mephisto, that maybe they're just like trapped in like hell, like the realm hell from where Hela lives. Something like that.
Yeah. It isn't, and correct me if I'm wrong on here, because I don't know the whole comic book story of the twins, but weren't they born out of Mephisto's soul or something anyway?
Yes and no.
Right. It just seems that they were just created by Wanda. She just created them out of nothing, like Vision, and haven't. I know that's. I can see where you're coming from, because that does tie to the comic book storyline, and it does make sense the fact that they're crying out for help. So I
don't know if it's gonna be Mephisto though. That's the big thing for me. Like I feel like. Well, and also, I don't think his soul is, the soul. I think it's the chaos magic that she used to create them that kind of ties them to Mephisto, and they probably won't say it's part of his soul. They'll just be like, he has some control over this chaos magic. Okay. Again, that's if they do Mephisto.
That makes. But I could go along with that. But hasn't Nightmare been confirmed as the big bad in Doctor Strange 2?
Scott Derrickson originally said he wanted Nightmare as the villain of Doctor Strange 2.
Right.
And then there was like all the plans. He was posting pictures of like comic books of Nightmare. And then he got let go he left Doctor Strange 2 and they hired Sam Raimi.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I'm still massively looking forward to Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange 2. It's going to be brilliant.
I hope he gets another film after that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want it to be kind of a wackier one too. Like, who would they give him? I don't know. Know what? Give Sam Raimi give him Hyperion or Sentry. Give him the Superman type character. See what he does with that.
Yeah, I have a quick question before we go on, just because I watched Doctor Strange again last night, whatever. Like, are we gonna see Dormammu again at all? Because now that Strange doesn't have the Time Stone, he doesn't have that leverage over Dormammu at all.
What if that's the villain?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Because we only got like a small little bit of him in Doctor Strange, like, which was still awesome to see. But yeah, Strange no longer has the Time Stone.
Oh, it'd be cool to see Dormammu take like his personified form kind of thing, where it's just a flaming skull kind of thing, and just like I think it's purple and black like robes. It looks really cool.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. And I'm sure that was one of the things that came. That was like a big question that came out after an Endgame. That when you were talking about Doctor Strange 2 is, you know, how is he going to sort of deal with things when he hasn't got the Time Stone? So, bringing Dormammu back would that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah.
I'd be excited to see that.
Maybe that's where Doctor Strange is. And that's why he's not here.
Oh yeah, he's just trying to hold Dormammu in the dark dimension.
Yeah.
And he needs the Darkhold now to put him away. That could,
Yeah, because he'd need to use dark magic.
Yeah. Oh, well, there we go.
Oh,
sort that one out.
I think we're onto something.
Yeah, I was gonna say this too, because even rewatching this now, it still has not been said. He's a master of the mystic arts, but it has not been said that he's the Sorcerer Supreme yet.
True.
Has it not? Okay.
That'll be the big reveal in Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. Well, see, that's why I kind of thought that like I really got attached to the theory that Doctor Strange was going to show up at least in an end credit scene, because I was like, that'd make sense. He could be like, I'm Stephen Strange, like I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. I've seen what's been going on here. Like, you've just unleashed some other shit. We need some help, please.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, oh, well, I just learned that I'm way more powerful than you. Which that also was something.
I can't see Doctor Strange asking for help. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I just can't. You know what I mean? I think he'll end up going to Wanda because I think he'll think that she's messed things up, perhaps, and then maybe realizing that actually she can be helpful. But could never see him going to someone for help, perhaps. But I don't know. Yeah. Oh wow, we're going well off topic this episode, aren't we?
It's just too much.
Yeah. Well, going back to the end, not the end credit scene, but the end when the hex was closing in. I found it sad, and I'm not too proud to admit it, but a tear came into my eye.
Oh yeah.
When and I don't know if this is. It doesn't help because I've got two kids of my own, and you've probably heard people say it before, but when you have kids, it does things like that hit you more, and so maybe that's why, I don't know. But when I realised that, oh my God, the kids are going to go here and Vision's going to go, and it's just the way they did it. So they just played it sort of quite slowly, and Vision saying, "Should we go home now?" And they just left, and. Found it very sad.
Yeah. It almost reminded me of the one scene in the Titanic where like the mom's like tucking her kids into bed as the water's filling up in their room.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
And like that's all I could think of when I saw that. I'm like,
You know, I spent
but we know they are
years. I spent 25 years of my life forgetting that scene, and you just reminded me of it. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is a horrible scene.
James Cameron is sick.
Yeah, I mean,
seriously.
Yeah, but you're right though. It does sort of parody that you know, they're tucking these kids in to basically. I mean, I don't know I don't know if it would be classed as them dying if the. Well, I don't know whether this is what I was trying to get my head around. I've written it down that can she basically created Vision and the twins out of nothing. The only reason why they can't live beyond the hex is because, according to Agatha, she didn't do the spell right. So does that mean, and maybe that feeds into the fact that she's reading up on the Darkhold, that she's trying to figure out how to actually bring beings to life without having them connect hex or something? Is that how is that how you guys sort of read into that? So it was
Actually, yes.
yeah.
Almost 100% like that, but I feel like I took it a step further. Because I thought,
Right.
oh yeah, she's going to do that for her kids no matter what, 'cause she needs them back. Then once she has that power, she's going right to Sokovia and Pietro will be back.
Oh yes.
Because if she has that power, like, why stop there? Like, if she can undo that kind of grief and bring him back, why not?
Yeah. That. Yeah. No, so you might get your wishing, Tom.
I'm really hoping. Aaron Taylor Johnson, if you ever see this and you're not back in the MCU, come back, please.
Right. Yeah. That end scene, I was said at the very start of the podcast that there was a reference, or certainly that I saw to Raimi, Sam Raimi, and it was the bit where they've took the kids in, and then they've come downstairs and they're standing in the living room, and I think that they have the conversation, very very emotional, and then they see the hex starting to close, and then you get an external view, and if you've ever seen The Evil Dead, where The Evil Dead, the camera sort of works its way through the forest leading up to the lodge, and that's the same type of shot where you had the camera, in my head, it was the hex closing in, and it was going around corners, and it was closing in on the house. And I just thought, that's the Evil Dead. That's it's just they've just picked that shot out the Evil Dead and put it in Westview. that was my take on it. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know if anyone else.
I didn't even notice that at first until you just said that, but yeah, actually, now that you say that, like that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it was
I'm
just
gonna have
one
to go
shot.
rewatch that now.
Yeah, it was just one shot, and it was just the way the camera sort of moves around. It sort of moves as if the hex is closing in. I thought, oh, that's good. I thought that reminds me of The Evil Dead, and I'm thinking, oh, a second, that's Sam Raimi. That's just a massive connection. It has to be.
I was honestly like half expecting to see Sam Raimi as like an executive producer onto the one of the last episodes, and I was like, maybe.
Yeah. Do we think? Sorry, go on, Tom.
I just have one last thing that's a quick little fact about the post-credit scene, like the one after Monica's, which we will get to.
Yeah.
I don't know where she is in that. My theory was originally the Sokovian mountainside, until I saw something posted online that is actually Alkali Lake. That whole location is Alkali Lake from the X-Men films. Which would be in, I think it's British Columbia in Canada, or no, it's the Northwest Territories, something like that.
Yeah.
So that makes me think: is she like a few hundred feet away from where Weapon X was experimented on, or?
It's weird you say that, because literally I was speaking to my mate yesterday about this. And I was saying, end credit saying, what do you think? And he says, I thought it was going to be Wolverine. I said, you what? He says, yeah, I thought just within the hills with the trees and everything. He said, and then I thought, oh, we're going to see Wolverine here. He says, oh, I didn't pick that up at all. But there we go. Yeah, so that's, people are obviously thinking that.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, but
sorry, it wasn't Wolverine, but.
It could be close.
Yeah, alkaline.
If that is, if they're gonna say in universe that's where that is, because like it's the exact same location they shot that stuff at.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's just a matter of it could be Sokovia, because it would make sense for Wanda to kind of go back to Sokovia.
Well,
But she could
yes and
escape to
no,
Canada.
Surely, if you're looking for Wanda, where would you look for her? And Sokovia would be
Sokovia.
somewhere you'd look. Yeah, you wouldn't think of going to Canada. She has no
No.
links to
Yeah.
Canada, So maybe, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. It wouldn't surprise me if it is Sokovia,
Yeah.
but yeah, it could quite easily be. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, as far as I know, like, well, I mean, unless Wolverine's getting brought in anytime soon, there's no Canadian, like, as far as we know right now, no heroes from Canada or anything like that. There could be off screen, but like right now, none of that. So I wonder. I wonder.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we talk? Should we? Sorry, go on.
Oh no, this you're good to go.
Well, I was just going to say, should we talk about the mid? Is it the mid credit scene?
Monica.
Where Monica, yeah. I think that's actually when is that when she's speaking to Agent Wu and saying how
Yeah.
good a job he's doing. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, and then obviously she gets pulled aside by a FBI agent to have a. I thought something sinister was about to happen to her. By the way, when she's getting led into the theater, and I'm thinking there's no one there, and I think I'm questioning it before she is, and I'm like, oh shit, Monica, something bad's about to happen here. And then obviously it didn't. We see a scroll, and I think the scroll then obviously says, a friend of your mother wants to see you, understands you've been grounded. Nick Fury, I'm assuming that's who she's talking. Yeah. Yeah, which makes it sort of my theory that Captain Marvel 2 might happen in the noughties. I think it sort of puts I think it stops that theory, because I think now Captain Marvel 2 will be Monica in space with Nick Fury and Carol Danvers doing something. I don't know what.
And Miss Marvel's confirmed for that movie as well too.
Well, there's that as well, which sort of makes me think it can't be the noughties now. So that will be set in sort of present day or 2023, because they're ahead of us now, aren't they?
Yep.
In terms of years, yeah.
The pandemic actually kind of helped them on that, because I think most of the films are going to be based in like 2023 for like at least until 2023, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So fishy. It's like they might have knew. No.
Yeah.
Feige, what did you do?
Right.
Yeah. You can see them in the Marvel exec room thinking, how do we stop? How do we stop things for a couple of years?
Global pandemic?
Yeah, we need a break. We've been doing this for 11 years.
Yeah. We need a bit of time out.
Feige's like, all right, I'm just going to read all the new comic books and see which storylines we can pull from for the next movies. And they're like, bro, this is your year off.
But yeah, Nick Fury is who I thought right away, because I mean it would make sense with the Far From Home timeline. Just that was Talos and everything that was playing Nick Fury, and Nick Fury's in space. I mean,
now I have a question for you. Do you think Monica's on that space station with Nick Fury in the Far From Home post-credit scene? Obviously, we didn't see her, but do you think she's there? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's
not much to go back behind that theory, but yes, I do think she's up there. I mean,
because we mentioned this before. How far ahead is Far From Home? Did someone say
6 or 8 months?
6 or 8.
6 or 8 months. I think it's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monica's definitely up there by that. Unless she's gone up and come back down for some reason, I don't know. it'll be interesting to see where all these timelines sort of come in.
Yeah.
I'm assuming all this is in Feige's head. But Captain Marvel 2, when does that that could possibly happen before Far From Home, potentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there's a 6 to 8 month gap and Monica's going up there, yeah, I don't know.
Well, actually, then here's another little question: do you think we're gonna see any movies from during the blip, the 5 years? Because we haven't seen anything from that so far, other than the last bit of the 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, again, this feeds back into what we've talked about. I mean, Hayward has a massive sort of. He has a moment when he's talking to Monica about. I can't remember if it was in episode 3 or 4, where he sort of indicates to Monica, "You don't know what it was like, how bad it was," type of thing. They could, they've got a lot of stuff could have happened in that 5 year, where you could bring people in. It could be quite a good sort of, you could put a movie in that sort of time frame and and deal with some good issues really. Trying to think who you've still got. Not you've still got which heroes were not. Well, you had all the heroes really. You had all the six, didn't you? The 6 main Avengers. Not that they were split up, I suppose. Are you talking maybe introducing a new superhero in that sort of time frame?
Well, yeah, honestly, that or even a prequel, because I was gonna say it looked like Cap was doing more community work the whole time. Iron Man started his family. Widow was running the Avengers with Captain Marvel, Rocket, and Okoye. Oh, and Rhodey. So they're kind of running the Avengers, but obviously at this point the Avengers aren't the Avengers.
The only one I think that would be worth interesting would be
Hawkeye.
Obviously Hawkeye. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you couldn't make a movie out of it, but just seeing Banner and Hulk, combining both personalities. But I don't think
wonder
that's
if
a
we
movie
get that in
worthy.
She-Hulk.
That's what I'm kind of thinking in like the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to see that. I've talked about that before. About that was probably the only thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah. No, I was just going to say that's the one thing I didn't see in Endgame, which I wanted to. Banner's progression to Professor Hulk. But yeah, sorry, go on, Zach.
And then Hawkeye. That's going to be a Disney Plus show, isn't that?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're already going to. Probably, I mean, if that's what the timeline's going to be, we're already going to see that, I would hope.
Yeah, I think Hawkeye's the end of this year, and She-Hulk will be mid-2022.
Okay.
I think that's right. But She-Hulk's also a character who kind of breaks the fourth wall. Not as much as Deadpool, but she does. So I wonder if, her show might open with her kind of breaking the fourth wall, kind of giving an explanation of, what's happened to get her to this point. I don't know why. I just I see that happening. It's going to be oh, honestly, they might reshoot the scene where Banner gets his powers and put Ruffalo there instead of Norton. Just be it's just oh yeah, this was when my cousin got powers, and then he did this and blah blah blah. He had a huge battle, and then he ended up merging the personalities. Then he was an Avenger and all this, and I came back to life and found out that they'd resurrected me. So thank you, or something like that.
I could see that. Yeah.
Ruffalo's appearing in it, isn't he? Yeah.
And is Tim Roth's Abomination.
Oh yes, yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like they might specifically just kind of do some scenes from The Incredible Hulk with Ruffalo's face on it, just to be okay, that movie, it existed, just different guy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not really talked about much, is it? Yeah.
It's not a bad film.
No, I think we talked about that a little bit last week.
Yeah. I've rewatched it recently. It's not bad. It's not it's not a bad film.
The terrible one was the.
It was 2003, right?
Yeah, but that one was cool though, because every time he got angrier, didn't he get bigger? Like, isn't that how the Hulk used to be? Like, the more angrier he got, the bigger he got.
Say angrier Gus? Well, yeah, kind of. It depends on which version of the Hulk, but usually it's the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. So the more
Oh,
angry he
okay.
gets, he literally just becomes unstoppable. Do you guys have anything you wanted to talk about from WandaVision, though? Getting back on track
Yeah.
again.
I'm just looking at the notes I've put down. I did see a sort of a cool thing online, and it was basically just referring to the whole show just being the five steps of grief
Grief.
that Wanda's
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
through. I think like the first couple of episodes is denial, and then it moves on to her being angry and then bargaining. And I think the website I saw it on, and apologies, I can't remember the website it was on, so I can't credit them for this. But they showed clips, and it did, and then it went to depression, which was obviously quite clear in not last episode. It was like the Modern Family episode where she's depressed, and then obviously acceptance at the end. And again, going back to all these people, very much like myself, sort of maybe wanting to see cameos of Doctor Strange or Reed Richards or whatever. When you look at it like that, if that's the story they've done of Wanda's grief, it had to be about her and Vision, and to bring another big character in would have taken it away from that sort of storyline of the progressions through grief. But this did this I don't know if this was, I think I had this conversation on Twitter with someone, that someone had said, if this is her going through grief, it's like, where are all, where are basically her friends, her Avenger friends? Shouldn't they be there,
Oh, that
sort
was
of helping
Mitch.
her out type of thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that a friend of yours, Tom?
No,
Is this,
no.
or
Honestly, he's
no,
a
no?
host of the Comic Book Cast podcast. So
Oh, right.
yeah, I
Okay.
follow him
Right.
and just like reply to him a lot though. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mitch six
Yeah.
nine two on
Yeah.
Twitter. He's got some good takes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I mean, I think he started that thread where it was like, where are all of their friends? And I think I'd sort of put, well, she doesn't really have any friends now. They're all gone. You know, Tony's gone, Nat's gone, Captain America's gone, Thor's off world. There's only really Barton, and he's got a family, so it's sort of like she's left alone, but she hasn't really got any friends, which doesn't sort of help matters. In the sort of plays into that fact that that's why she wanted to create a family, and probably now why she's gone off with the Darkhold to try and bring her family back again.
Hmm.
It's she just needs a friend to give her a hug. That's what
She
I reckon.
really does, and
Yeah.
she deserves it. Like, I mean, I've seen the slander against Wanda that she's terrible for doing this. No, we will take no Wanda slander here. None of it.
No,
She
no.
has done nothing
She's
wrong, just like Thanos.
Yeah,
No, just kidding.
yeah.
Just like Hayward.
Bastard. He was the bastard.
Totally kidding.
We'll put it like this: Wanda's done as much wrong as Yondu has to Peter Quill.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. Yeah, go with that. Go with that. Yeah. A little again, just something I picked up online, and I hadn't noticed it myself. Quite disappointed on it, but when she sort of comes out of the hex at the end, and she's obviously by herself, her wedding ring is also gone
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Sad moment.
Hmm.
So,
But I love that. I like it's a early stage costume, but I love that costume. I love the crown.
Oh yeah. Yep.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's a good get up.
I'm hoping they'll kind of introduce more of the cape as we go along too, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she can basically just create whatever she wants to wear, can't
Oh, yeah.
she? So, um, Mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've got too much more to say. I think I had written down a few things which I thought, oh, we haven't. Um, aerospace engineer, we've talked about. Beekeeper, Wu's missing person. Senor Scratchy, do we think that we had a lot of theories about Senor Scratchy?
I wonder if it is
Doesn't
Nicholas
s-
Scratch. I don't think
Yeah,
it
he was.
definitely wasn't Ralph.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't think it was. Or do we think it was just a nice little nod to comics?
Yeah,
That yeah.
probably. If it's not gonna actually end up being Nicholas Scratch, then maybe. I was gonna say maybe they just didn't find an actor they wanted to play him for this series, and they ended up just going with, oh, we have Evan Peters, we can use him. We'll throw
Yeah.
Nicholas Scratch little Easter egg in there, and his role will be
Help them
replaced by
down the
this person.
road.
Yeah.
Mm. Do we think that? Do we think we're going to see Agatha fairly quickly? Will we see her in Doctor Strange 3? 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost
Mm,
positive we will. At least in some capacity. Even if it's an end credit scene where Wanda goes to talk to her, or if it's even just Catherine Hahn's voice talking to Wanda, I think it might be
yeah.
something like that.
She's been very big in this. I think she's got a lot of fans. So I can see them. I mean, they're probably again Marvel have probably done quite a clever thing where they've left her there in Westview, and then maybe thought, right, we'll see how people react to her, and I mean, I think she's been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm happy to see more Agatha. But this brings it back to what I've said before about you're starting to get a lot of characters now that are intertwining with each other, and it's where do you bring? I mean, what Wanda for me now? Give her her own film. It's she's that big now,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
want to see a lot of stuff. What's just give her her own film. And I never thought I would say that. Probably even well before one or even halfway through WandaVision, but now it's like she could have her own film
Yeah.
with the stuff that's going on. So
Oh, yeah, agreed.
yeah.
I'm really excited for what we're gonna get to. Just this all, like, we now know, obviously, Monica didn't actually pick up a name, so we still don't know if she's Photon or Spectrum. Probably Photon, though. I think everyone's collectively settled on that one.
Well, again, I was speaking to my mate yesterday about, and he's not a comic book reader like myself, but he was seeing Spectrum purely because when she came out of the hex, when she'd gone through the boundary of the hex, and she could see the spectrum
Yeah.
of different things. So he'd gone to Spectrum, and he like I say, he's probably he doesn't read the comic books. He probably just picks up stuff like what I've picked up stuff. Whereas I went for Photon purely because that's her mum's. We see her mum's call name in one of the shots previously. So yeah, I think fans might be split with who she's going to be called. Actually, perhaps I don't know.
I did just rewatch Captain Marvel last night, so, like, Photon also, like, it's on the side of her jet, and it's also pretty prominently shown every time Maria's on screen. Also,
Right.
What's it called? I almost said Wanda. Carol's her blast, their photon blast. Like, that's her power. She shoots photon energy, right?
All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I also think it's going to be photon, mainly for the mother. But if it's Spectrum, I'm quite alright with that as well.
Yeah.
But actually, I was thinking of this. Are there any other superheroes in the MCU that haven't been given their comic book name yet. Because I think Hawkeye's been said. The Black Widow,
right,
100%.
in Avengers.
Hawkeye's been said.
Thor, Odin's son. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. I mean, the main Avengers have. I don't know. After. I mean, Quicksilver. He was never referred to as Quicksilver, was he?
Yeah, he wasn't.
I mean, I don't know where that name would actually come from.
Yeah.
How do you get the name Quicksilver?
Like silverish hair, pretty fast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can get the yeah. Okay.
Honestly, like I feel like if they ended up keeping him alive, he'd probably just make his own name. It's like, I will be Quicksilver. I'm fast and silver hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. There probably is. We'll pick up on it soon. I mean, Captain Marvel, I don't think's actually been called Captain Marvel yet.
No, she
I
hasn't.
don't think so.
But they've strongly implied that, like, she is called Captain Marvel in universe. Like, the scene with her and Fury at the end of Captain Marvel, they're basically like, it's like, why not just put, like, Marvel? Why make it so complicated? Just do Marvel.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. I think I saw an interview. I don't know if it was with. I can't remember now who it was with. But someone linked to it. I don't know if it was I can't remember who directed that either. But I think the question was asked. You know, why was she not referred to as Captain Marvel? And I think the answer was there just wasn't an easy way to do it type of thing. You know, how do you just come out with someone called Captain Marvel when? Where does that name come from? How you know? And Marvel was the only sort of link. But I think they just said it was just a little bit too hard. It would have been forced if they just called it that, so they just left it. But I can see it coming at some point. I would have thought.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I have covered everything I would have liked to for this episode.
Yeah.
Same, and then more some.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know we were gonna get into some of the Ant-Man and X-Men stuff. Sorry about that, guys. But but I'm okay.
Hey, we can do more. Next week we can just have a completely huge tangent episode of just wherever we go.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, do we want a WandaVision 2? I don't know how they would do that, because this is a pretty unique show. But would we want to see a second series?
I would like to see more of Wanda and Vision. And I feel like now their paths have kind of separated. You can't really do a season 2 for WandaVision, because most likely their stories would be taking place in different ways. They'd be doing something completely different. They probably wouldn't be as close as they were then.
Yeah.
Unless White Vision came back to Wanda while she's sitting in either Canada or Sokovia.
Yeah. I if we do see a season 2, it would not be anywhere like this one.
Oh no.
It just couldn't be done the same. But I'm all for seeing more of Wanda in her own show, whether that be a TV or film. I get the impression we're just now going to see. She might play a fairly sort of major role in some of the films coming up, but they're not her films. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be, Doctor Strange 2 will be about Doctor Strange 2, and Wanda might be there.
Yeah.
And whether or not they can progress her storyline as much, I don't know. I mean, they've put a lot of emphasis on the fact that she's Scarlet Witch, so maybe they are going to push her quite a bit, perhaps, and I hope they do. But for me, either a film or another TV series, for me, with Wanda, and like what you said, probably with Vision as well. I liked seeing, and I didn't think I would. Certainly, Vision, I didn't really have any sort of connection. I wasn't that bothered about seeing him
Yeah.
again. But yeah, and just the actors, Olsen and Bettany, I thought have been brilliant. So I'd like to see more of them too.
I think Bettany came out
Good.
today and said he's going to play as long as he can.
Really excellent.
Yes.
The thing is, he's now got a bit of a sort of clean slate. He's starting Vision again, isn't he? So,
His third character in the MCU.
yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these characters go now. But certainly, yeah, more Wanda, more Vision.
Oh, yeah.
Whether that's in films or TV, I'm happy to see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that, guys, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you all for listening. Next week, obviously, there's nothing new being released unless that secret 10th episode of WandaVision comes out. But yeah, we'll probably just be discussing some of the news that's been going on just around the world of Marvel and the movies, and maybe we'll have a guest or two on that we could talk to. Hopefully one of you guys. So with that, we're signing off. Have a good week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good night, y'all.